Well, good afternoon, and for those I have not yet had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Eric Mallette. I'm the theater's executive director. You know, I had the honor of working with the best team a person in my position could ask for. A devoted production department, dedicated office administrators, a crew of more than 100 generous volunteers, and a board of directors committed to our mission-driven work like no other. We also have a team working tirelessly for us a little further south, in Washington. Of course, I'm talking about Senator Patrick Leahy, the reason we are gathered here today to celebrate. How fortunate are we that we get to live in a city like Rutland, in a state like Vermont, and be represented at the federal level by people as dedicated as Senator Leahy. The Paramount prides itself on being a theater for everyone in our community. And with the help of our valued supporters from Woodstock Avenue to Constitution Avenue to right over on Washington Street in the mayor's office, we celebrate that achievement every day our doors are open and these stage lights behind me burn bright. 65,000 people walked through those doors in 2019. 65,000. Together, they represent an economic impact on the region of an estimated $2 million. The next chapter in our book celebrates and explores how we expand upon that valued accomplishment. You see, right here to our east, just to my right and your left, is nearly 16,000 square feet of mostly unused real estate. It's called the Richardson Building. Now, together, we're embarking on a $5.5 million investment in our future as we look to renovate that space into a world-class, multi-use venue. In support of this expansion of both our physical footprint and our economic impact, Senator Leahy secured the Paramount Theater $500,000 via the Save America's Treasures grant program. This $500,000 represents not only a significant piece of our overall campaign, but a vote of confidence in support of our region's success. Thank you, Senator Leahy. A Paramount victory is a victory for our community. We are so very grateful for the Senator's commitment to the Rutland region. Now, others will be speaking today and will share with you even more exciting details of this evolution in our more than 2-decade-long history. But right now, I have the genuine privilege of introducing the chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee. He is President Pro Tem of the Senate, and most importantly in my book today, he's a great friend of the Paramount. Won't you please welcome Senator Patrick Leahy.
Eric, thank you. Thank you very much. You know, I really feel like I'm home when I'm here. We were talking earlier, my parents had a small printing business in Montpelier. We grew up, my brother and sister and I grew up in the house in front, the printing business in the back called the Leahy Press. We also worked for the printing business here in Rutland. We'd come down with my parents and we would visit around, and they seemed to know just about everybody. My Irish father, my Italian mother, they knew everybody in both the Irish and the Italian community in Rutland. Then after, when I was a young lawyer, I would often have cases in the federal court that was over here at the time, or in the county court, and stay at the hotel, the Bardwell?
Bardwell.
The Bardwell.
Yep.
There. More cases were settled because everybody, the lawyers of both sides would be staying there. We'd end up, after supper, having some holy water in the bar. We had different kinds of holy water, of course, and so often the cases were settled there. And I do remember the judge one time looking at us, we came in and said, well, you boys get together at whatever age we're boys, and get together, and now, so yes. Fortunately, as I got older in the practice of law, we had started having a lot more women in the practice of law, so did you boys and girls get together and get it settled? And we did. But you learn a community. can walk down the street, even after I was in the Senate, walk down the street, run into people I'd met even back then, and you know how important the community is in downtown, Mr. Mayor, how important that is in the Paramount. Marcel and I went to so many different things over the years in here. I always am impressed when I come in and I see the balconies, the box seats and all that, and think this is not some huge urban area, but it's a perfect Vermont city, and has been for 100 years. And you point out the number of people it brings to downtown Rutland. That's not just helping out the theater. Think of us doing every one of the stores up and down here. And the renovation of the Richardson building, additional meeting and performance spaces. You're probably going to have 25% or more additional in the next 5 years. And that would mean raising that 2.5 million, talking up to 3 million. And I was very happy to direct the 500,000 here. And the Appropriations Committee, every Republican and every Democrat voted with me on that. It does help to be chairman. But look at the organizations that have endorsed the project. Rutland Regional Medical Center, Rutland Young Professionals, Rutland Regional Planning Commission, the Chamber, Economic Development of the Rutland Region, and of course, the city of Rutland. I know that local people and legislators, everybody, the governor, the legislators, the mayors, the local boards, you know best where to spend money. So when I became chairman of the Appropriations Committee, I restored the congressionally directed spending so we can fund projects. The Rutland City Parent-Child Center, that's going to be providing workforce training for parents. The Vermont Woodworks Council, based here in Rutland, it's got an internship program. Community health centers, the Rutland region for geriatric care clinic. I always look at those in case I become old someday. And the Rutland West Neighborhood Housing Service, they're going to take their expertise in weatherization they learned here and take it up to the Northeast Kingdom. I mean, think of how the influence this has all over the state. And combined with that, that's going to be $2,350,000 in federal funds, which will come here. You could go down through the numbers, and the numbers are one thing, and they are important. What's far more important, in my mind, is the community, the men and women of the community who come together. It makes no difference what your politics are, what party you belong to. What difference is you care about the community, and you've done that. So thank you for letting me speak. And who's next? Who's next?
So our campaign is chaired by two folks, Paul Gallo over here to my left, and Mark Foley Jr. And Mark would like to share a few words on the campaign.
Yeah. Thank you again, Senator. We will be sure to have 2 tickets for you and Marcel on opening night in 2024 when we're completed it. So we are setting the stage for our future, positioning the Paramount for success over the next 25 years. And I'm pleased to be here with the Senator, with Paul, the co-chair, and with Eric, and obviously many members of our board and invited guests. I'm going to just briefly talk about overview of the improvements. They're significant, and ultimately they will be an incredible resource for the community. The lobby and balcony levels improvements include tripling the restroom capacity and doubling our concession service areas, a relocated box office designed to meet the needs of future guests. The new elevator and stair tower will allow for increased ADA access throughout the Paramount. The updated mechanical systems will increase guest comfort and, as well as provide the highest levels of indoor air quality for our patrons. The new beautiful 360-degree view 4th floor venue will allow us to greatly increase our own programming as well as be a community resource available for rent for conferences and other community events, as well supported by a full commercial kitchen. The third floor suite level will provide unique meeting space, necessary meeting space downtown, as well as one-of-a-kind experiences for small groups on show nights. Eric talked a little bit about the impacts. I'm going to just talk a couple more statistics and refresh them. All in support of the Rutland downtown as well as our whole region, as the Senator said. Today we average about 175 events per year. It'll be over 300 over the next 3 years. Total annual patrons through the door, the number's been mentioned, 65,000, expected to increase to 85 to 90,000 over that same period. Economic impact at $2 million, expected to grow to $3 million in that same period. That's incredible impact from this little building, and from something that's been going strong now for 20 plus years. We hope that this will provide the resources it needs for the next 25. I'm pleased to say that as we enter the public portion of the campaign, that we're close to 65% of our goal committed and in hand. Construction is expected to start at the end of the year, and Senator Leahy, your support is instrumental in allowing us to move full speed ahead. So thank you again. Now I have the privilege of introducing Mayor Dave Allaire, who I want to say something about the city. The city was one of our first rounds of trying to help them understand and appreciate the value of this building. And we didn't take a lot of explaining. The mayor got it right away. And with his support and the support of the Board of Aldermen, they've committed significantly, frankly, second or third highest. Senator, you trumped the city's commitment by just a little bit, but the city came on board with unprecedented amount of support. And so it's my privilege to welcome Mayor Dave Allaire.
So, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege to be speaking to you today. I will echo a couple of sentiments that's been said. I want to thank Senator Leahy for coming down, being a part of this, and for all the work you've done down in Washington to highlight, the good things that are going on in the city of Rutland. I'm excited about the renovation that's going to go on here. The numbers has just been explained to you. The economic impact is just really immeasurable, and the feeling that it brings and the hope that it brings to Rutlanders and really people from all over this region who come into these doors to enjoy the concerts and enjoy this venue. You were bringing up a few years back when you were in the printing business. It brings me back to my first experiences here at the Paramount. I won't tell you what year it was, but it was to see a little movie called Bambi in the mid-1960s. And so that's a couple of years ago, but I clearly remember being down here and how much joy it brought me then. I can just imagine how much joy it brings to children, middle-aged people, people from all walks of life that are able to come and enjoy the Paramount Theater. It really is a destination for the city of Rutland. It's a destination for our future, and city government recognizes that. I certainly recognize that, and I wish you all the best in going forward. I know you're going to be successful in your fundraising event. The community obviously recognizes all the good that you bring to this. So I appreciate the opportunity to speak. It's good to see so many familiar faces. It's good to see you all in person, and let's keep this fundraising going, and I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. So we will take a few minutes to some questions from anybody out there, but I just want to reiterate that mention of hope. I've heard that, I think everybody that spoke today used the word hope at least once. And this campaign, indeed this organization, represents that. We spent 551 days of not being open. I can explain to you today how good it feels to see all of your faces in here, and I hope you all come back and enjoy a show very soon. More to come about this wonderful project, again, directly adjacent to us here on your left. But for the time being, if there are any questions for anybody that spoke or anybody else, now would be the right time to do so.
I guess just to start, while we're on the topic of obviously COVID, spent over more than 500 days with these doors closed, the people of Rutland not being able to see a show and kind of do the normal things that they want to do. Now that we're kind of moving out of that, what kinds of things are are you guys planning, and how do you bounce back, and how do you get the folks back in the door?
Absolutely. So we bounced back responsibly. We were able to survive those 550 days because of the support that we've been talking about today. We've been able to survive and indeed thrive because our community recognized they don't want to live in a place without a Paramount. And for 551 days, that's what we had to endure. We branched out. We realized that in a lot of ways, the Paramount is an idea. It's not just four walls. We built drive-in movie theaters. We did major concerts at the local fairgrounds. We brought in almost 10,000 people in total this summer safely outdoors at the Vermont State Fairgrounds. Moving forward, we do so responsibly. We program what the market is comfortable attending. We maintain an eye on the box office, and we continue to deliver that mission-driven work that we've worked so hard for the last 22 years.
And if I could add to that, it's what you said, the spirit of it. The time of COVID, I said to somebody, I think that in 15 weeks, we probably saw a 15-year change in business, in the way we live our lives, academics and everything else. When we were getting the first COVID package, I wrote in what's called a small state minimum. And I remember calling Governor Scott and saying, I've added $1,500,000,000 for Vermont. It was a dead silence for a moment. He said, did you say billion? I said, $1.5 billion, if you want it. So he accepted it. But the thing is, money is one thing. And I feel privileged as a Vermonter to have the seat I do on appropriations. The money means absolutely nothing if you don't have the people using it. What you're doing here, you're bringing people together. You talk about coming as a child seeing Bambi. Think of the other children who come in with their families, and they will remember that, and they'll remember the next generation. My family the Leahys came to Vermont in the mid-1800s. And we've seen a lot of changes, I'm sure, since that time. But the sense of community is what's most important. And I know I preach to the converted, but we have to continue to do these things. We're a small state. We're a special state. But we've got to make sure that the next generation, the generation after, know what's special about Vermont, and we'll stay here. So the Paramount, as I said, I remember coming in here over the years, and we have so many other places like this that have got to be saved because it saves the downtown. And the downtown is the beating heart of a city. And I don't mean to get on a soapbox on this, but I feel very strongly about it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Thank you.
I guess we answered all the questions. Good. I like that.
Well, thank you all for coming. We appreciate it, and we hope to see you all here soon.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Some of the murals too.
Oh, great, good,
I mean,
good, good.
Yeah,
Lots
but-
to see.